Before we get into today's video, I just wanted to say thank you to all of the new subscribers. If you haven't yet, consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification so that you can see every time I put out a new video. A major portion of you that watch my videos haven't subscribed yet, so why not? It's free. You can also find a PayPal link below if you want to give a one-time or give a monthly to support the channel. Anything, great or small, is appreciated. Now let's get into the video. Thank you all so much for joining me again on another episode of Faith and Failures. Today I have with me a special guest, Mike Geo. So Mike, let me ask you this. In my research, I did some chat GPT on you, and Geo is not your actual, like you have a different actual full last name, don't you?
Oh yeah.
What is it? I read it, but I couldn't pronounce it.
So there's two ways to pronounce it. The American way is Giordano. The Italian way is Giordano. So technically, because there's no G well, there's a G, but in Italian, the G is pronounced Gio.
Okay.
So it's really it's like the equivalent of Jordan, Giordano. Okay,
well, that's pretty cool. So that leads me to my next question. So you're Italian.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so tell me about that. Like, is it, like, were your parents or grandparents like immigrants? Like, how did you said right now you're living in New York?
Yeah, so, and I did Ancestry last year, actually, I wouldn't even be able to answer a lot of this. My great-grandmother, she came here from Sicily.
Okay.
And she actually didn't even renounce her Italian citizenship. So she was living here, but she was still an Italian citizen. And the rest of my family, it goes back to some it's the early 1900s, some it's the late 1800s. They came in, and pretty much everybody came in either through Trenton, New Jersey, or they went to Long Island. And yeah, so and it's from Sicily, Naples, and very southern Italian mostly.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm just a white boy from the South. The grandparents, great-grandparents, they were all farmers. That's it. So, but a lot of that heritage, like that's your heritage, it seems to not all, a lot be stemmed or live around the New York area. Is that that's the main port of entry as far as like how that goes? Like, do you know the history of how they even came here?
I think someone came here for work, but my guess. My wife would probably know the answer, but my guess is it's because Ellis Island. You probably had to come through Ellis Island.
Okay.
And because of that, a lot of people that came in probably just settled in New York, New Jersey, that area.
Is your wife Italian too?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's part German and stuff, but she's mostly Italian as well.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. So I want to kind of open up and talk about how we got to know each other, how we even got connected. So I randomly found you on TikTok. Like that's how we got connected. And I just today, I was doing a little bit of homework. I'm like, okay, I want to know a little bit about this guy. I want to have some, good questions for him to get some depth and let the people know who he is. And then I saw maybe last week you baptized your daughter. Right. And then all
That's right.
the hate in the comments, people get really, there's a lot of good church people out there that have all the answers. Isn't there, right?
I knew it was coming. I mean, I knew it was coming.
Yeah. And so that's kind of actually how we connected. What was the post that you made that I commented on? And then you made another post and my comment was above. And I'm like, oh, this guy actually pays attention to who's talking to him.
Yeah, I made so many posts around that time. I don't remember which one it was. It was probably the one about the church membership thing. That's most likely because that one had so many comments. Because I replied to every comment, but on that one I had to give up. It was impossible. Really? Impossible. So I it was probably that one about church membership.
Yeah. So and I was like, dude, okay, well, this guy actually responds, because I've reached out to people before, because my favorite thing, I teach the Bible on the channel, but my favorite thing is interviews. I love the back and forth, the talking, get to know people's backgrounds, back and forth. And I hate just sitting there talking to a camera. Even though I can do it, I don't like it. I prefer to get to know somebody. So speaking of get to know, when you sent me a short little bio, I asked about You said about 20 years of making music. Is that
Mhm.
right? So how old are you?
I am 36.
You're 36. So about 16 years of making music. Now, what was the kind of launching pad or the inspiration to even make you want to get into music or try? Like, are you one of those guys that can play kind of almost every instrument? Yeah.
Yeah, I play a variety, yeah. I
So,
play a lot of
so
not a lot, but I play more than probably people are used to in 2025.
right. So what was that original inspiration that even got you into music or going in that direction?
Honestly, when I was a kid, my parents played Beatles songs, specifically Paul McCartney songs,
Yeah.
every day, and I was, like, obsessed with it, and I would play the songs, and I would sit there with a plastic guitar, and I would sing them. For some reason, it just made me feel good. Like, I felt like
Yeah.
I got, like, this big wave of energy, and it just felt good to do it. I have no idea why, and it just carried on, and then, like, years later, I said, "I could probably I could try and learn guitar for real, like, why not?"
Yeah.
And that's how it started, mainly from Beatles when I was a kid.
So what was your like how did that journey look like? So you got the little fake guitar. So did you take guitar lessons? Did you just start teaching yourself? Like how did that work?
Uh, I got a guitar. I think my father bought me a guitar, a classical guitar, and I remember like looking up Beatles stuff, and I saw there's a song called Eleanor Rigby, and I saw that it had like three chords: E minor, A minor, C,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, three chords. Let me learn the chords to that song. So I learned E minor, and then I learned, and when I strummed the E minor, I was like, kind of doesn't sound like it, of course, because it's so many strings and stuff. I mean, it's just, but that was like the first memory I have of learning a song. And so basically, whenever I wanted to learn a song, I learned the chords. And I think that's why I learned is because I had high motivation to play the songs rather than I did guitar lessons for a short period around then, and I just could. I don't know. I probably have bad ADD. Couldn't focus. Didn't care about the scales or reading, but if I had a high motivation, it was much easier.
Yeah. So you start there. Now, I don't know how far or deep into the 20 years when you kind of start, you find your love, you kind of are growing as a musician, growing as an artist? Like this whole time you could just naturally sing or what? Like how did that
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't say that at all. No, I mean, there are people that would probably, like my family thought I could back then, but I can go back and listen and be like, oh man, if I think this is how, if I can go back now, hear it, and be like, wow, that's what I sounded like.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of what I'm going to think in 10 years about how I sound now. I mean, really. It was, yeah. I mean, I didn't print my New York accent was so overpowering in my singing, and I was pitchy and inconsistent. But it's over time. You just do it and do it and do it, and you get better. So I would say that my natural ability was I had an ability to have the flexibility to do the notes,
Right.
but my problem was pronunciation and pitch
Yeah.
when I started.
Yeah, the YouTube channel y'all have the which we'll talk about, the Saints in Exile.
Hmm.
Today you just earned another subscriber. And I sent it to one of my friends. Matter of fact, the friend I'm talking about, he is the MD, the music director at my church on the worship team. And I sent him that. I said, "Hey, I'm going to interview this guy today because he's a band nerd. He like gets all excited about, just anything music. The guy he nerds out." And so I sent him one of your songs and I said, "I'm interviewing this guy." He said, "Hey, tell him we need a guitar player at church." And so I was listening to some of your songs on your channel, and you know that that band, they're called Amberlin. You ever heard of them?
Oh man, I think that sounds so familiar. I couldn't tell you what they sound like, but I think I've heard of them before.
Well, one of your songs, your voice, it sounded like that guy, and I'm like, okay, this guy's like, because I had went through some of your TikTok, but the hold on, what's the did you know there's something on YouTube that is your profile or your name, but it says something different?
My name or the Saints in Exile name?
The Saints in Exile, and I click on my dead end, and it goes to Saints in Exile dash topic.
Oh yeah, so that's like basically when you distribute music, they put it on a topic, like a separate thing from your artist YouTube profile. Although they sync it in a playlist on your profile, I wish it wasn't like that because they don't even allow people to comment, I don't think.
Because
And I
I
don't
was
know how to
confused because that's
fix that.
my dead end, becoming the villain, um, and then like bad vibes. I was going through and listening to it, and but when I clicked, because it's on the playlist underneath your profile, it says home.
Mhm.
It says music videos. I click on my dead end, but then it takes me to Saints in Exile topic. I just thought that was really weird.
That's with I mean, as far as anything I've ever experienced, it's always like that. They have the topic channel, and I hate it. I wish it was just synced
The same,
together.
yeah. You would think it
It,
would be, that would make sense, but
yeah.
I don't know. I just saw that. I'm like, did somebody try to like rip off your band and they're like posting your stuff pretending to be you? I didn't know they did it.
No, that's YouTube. That's a YouTube thing.
Okay, of course,
Yeah.
YouTube. All right, so let's see. Now, deep into or into your 20 years of music, when did you decide? How long have you been doing Saints in Exile?
Oh, that's very new.
Oh, is it really?
Saints and yeah, I mean, it took a number of years to get it actually going because I honestly like we weren't sure. Honestly, we started in 2020, and then that was and I called 2020 the year I got smacked in the face by Jesus. I know that sounds aggressive, but that's what it was like. And that kind of actually stopped that for a bit. And um it wasn't until late last year that we started, continuing where we left off. And
Same
so it's
guys,
very
like same band members and
same
everything.
same guys, yeah.
Now, are these people you grew up with, or how did you meet them?
Well, the rapper I'd known probably since around 2007, 2008. I don't even remember how I met him, aside from that it was through music locally
Yeah.
in Staten Island. And then the drummer I definitely met in 2006, 2007 in Staten Island locally. He was always the best drummer in the scene. And, he's just so nice. So we always got along really well.
Now, so there's just the three of y'all then?
Just the three of us.
Really? So the drummer, does that mean you play and do everything else?
Yeah, the drummer does the drums and I do all the rest of the music.
Wow. That does not sound like it's just a rapper, a drummer, and a guy that does everything else. That's awesome.
Well, good. That's fine. Good.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Now, does the drummer do anything? Is all he does is drum? He didn't sing or anything like that?
No, he just drums. Actually, I mean, on Becoming the Villain, technically in the background of the bridge, he's singing like we're doing like gang vocals, but it's mixed very in the background.
Yeah.
So technically, he does sing then, I guess, on there. But he's mainly
Okay.
the drummer
Okay. That's pretty cool. Now,
and emotional support.
and yeah, that's very important. That's very important.
It is.
So what's the so what does that look like? Like, what's the music scene in New York? Like, is it? I know you said it's pretty new, but what made y'all start to try to form something to try to do that?
The scene in New York. I mean, Staten Island. I don't know what's going on. New York. It ranges everything from like a lot of indie bands that maybe aren't great to a lot of bands that are like fantastic that are even signed playing in little clubs and stuff. But we just the three of us get along, and actually the drummer, he was in the same church as me. We were both on the worship team. So those years even got us really good is playing off of each other. But the reason why we started, really it was the rapper. He was in another band in Staten Island for many years, and they broke up and they started a band. The whole band started a band without him, basically.
Oh.
And so he's wanted to do music for a while, and he kind of pushed it to happen. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but he pushed it to happen, and it happened. So really, it's his fault.
Yeah, everybody needs a motivator to push us to that next level. So now you've mentioned a little bit. So would you consider y'all a Christian band?
So we're all Christian, right?
Right.
We're all Christian, and even the lyrics, my dead end in the second verse, it's a Christian rapper named Cutright, and those lyrics are very and actually that song was written before I would consider myself Christian, but I changed the lyrics to, instead of saying like this is my dead end, I'm like, is this my dead end? I try to make it sound more like a prayer. So I consider us a Christian band, but we're not the type of band that's, we're not so in your face about it. Which with my solo stuff, I am. That's like all 100% Christian, but the band is less in your face and more. And at first, that's one of the reasons why I wasn't totally sold on the band, because I'm like, I feel called to do Christian music,
Yeah.
and it didn't although it has Christian themes and it's even got Christian lyrics in it, it's not the way, it's not what you would call worship or CCM at all. But over time I started saying to myself, there are people that it could reach that it may not otherwise with the other music. So you know I overthink things a lot too, so it's very hard to say, but
As far
I
as
consider us a Christian band.
the lyrics and stuff, who's the writer? Do all of you help? Like how does that work out as far as like the setting of like we're working on another song, or is it you bring the song to the band and you collaborate, or they're just like, all right, cool, let's do it?
Typically I don't write the raps or the lyrics in the raps. That's all the rapper. The raps are written by the rapper and the lyrics in the raps written by the rapper. The rest of it is pretty much me bringing it in. The rapper helps me with some lyrics in the verses and chorus / hooks. But a lot of it's me bringing it in because I write a lot. I write constantly. So
Now,
yeah.
as far as writing goes, like you said, you're not overtly like you're not quoting the Bible or anything like that, but you are from a I guess from a Christian foundation of how you write. Are you on purpose? You may not know the answer. You may never thought about it. Are you on purpose not trying to include so much Jesus stuff like you do your stuff, or is it just kind of come out that way to where it's like, okay, this is our mission to help people being Christians but not preaching to them? Like what's your thought process on when you're trying to write something for the band, not your personal stuff, but for the band?
Yeah, I would say that now it is intentional. I was saying in the beginning, I was reluctant to really get started with the project for that reason. But and honestly, it's between praying and really thinking and talking to the other band members. Plus, even I actually have a Christian therapist, and he kind of gave me some really great advice on it too. And a lot of stuff, I said, all right, I'm not doing anything wrong here by doing this, and it could actually be helpful. And actually, we don't want to turn people off that may not listen to it to begin with if it's Christian. So we're like, we think it's cool if someone listens to it and then realizes after they like it, they're like, oh, they're Christian.
Yeah.
Rather than going in kind of saying, yeah, maybe I'm not gonna like this, I'm not even gonna listen. Which some people may say that's a good thing, but it's probably, I even feel like it may be hurtful, because we would probably, Christian audiences want to hear Christian, like strong Christian themes. So we're kind of like, we kind of skate in the middle, which, could be good, could be bad. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes obviously the journey and the process is half the battle right there. Like, because I know you start off a certain way, but I mean, if you're growing constantly in the way you write and the way you deliver and the way you collaborate with each other, like you never know where it's going to go. And it may be that like it's one of those middle of the road things that somebody who had never listened to Christian music listens to yours, and it touches them in a way, and then they're like, wait a minute, these guys are Christian? And it could be like that. And some people, they listen to Christian music, they want to hear Christian song, Christian lyrics. I want the word of God, and that's all, that kind of. But I mean, there is people always do black and white, but there's a massive gray area where I think sometimes people get lost and they think it's only one way or the other, when it can be both. Like that's a very unique genre and way of looking at it, that like somebody who may never listen to Christian music, and they realize, wait a minute, these guys are Christian, and what they just wrote spoke to me. I want to dig in even more and find what this stuff is about, because they didn't preach at me. Like I tell my people, I think I'm a pastor of a church. I tell my people all the time, you're never going to argue somebody into heaven. You won't. They will double down. They will dig their feet in, and you will not be able to argue, but you can love them into heaven. So I think that's pretty cool. Now,
I totally agree with that.
We touched a little bit, you mentioned it a little bit. Now, your faith journey obviously has been pretty public. You've been putting it out there on social media as far as like your struggles and stuff. So let's start kind of from the beginning. Personally, in your household, how were you raised? Like, what was the atmosphere? What was the culture of your house as far as Christian, not Christian, religious, not religious? What did that look like when you were growing up?
I wouldn't really label it as a religious household at all. It was more just, culture, I guess, tradition, culture. So I went to Catholic school, and we would sometimes go to Catholic church, and that was really it. The main thing I remember, the most Christian thing I remember as a kid, is one time my father told me I should, pray at night. And he said, one time he says, I prayed, and when I woke up, I felt better. He said something like that once. Yeah. And that always stuck with me, and I was like, my parents were divorced when I was like in third grade. So it had to be before that he said it, because he was still there. And then, yeah, I wouldn't really call it, now, not to say that, I have a crazy family or anything. It's like, it's Italian New York. It's a family of a lot of cursing and yelling in the house. Like, if you could just imagine the stereotypical thing, that's what it was. And, and I don't even mean cursing at each other, just like, as you're talking, like every word is just like, that's just how, but, yeah. Hope I answered that question.
Yeah. So there wasn't like a church going. It was more of the traditional, like, I guess it wasn't even really church going. It was kind of here and there on the main holidays type deal. And yeah. And see, I was the opposite. Yes. My parents, like of course, my dad was the pastor. So we were in church every single time the doors were open. And even when they weren't, we had a key. So we were there. Like, it was very, it was religious, but different religious. Like, it wasn't a Catholic religious. So now you said you were raised with the background of Catholic. So what would you label yourself as now?
So, and this wasn't until the 2020 time where I started just really getting into so much stuff, especially like I love apologetics.
Mm-hmm.
And I would label myself on the Protestant side now. And I would probably, there's people that probably in my life that they know that. But there's just some stuff that I'm open to, so I'm open to say that I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And being Catholic could be the way, but I don't feel that God is sitting there and like, if I Protestant, but I should have been Catholic, he's like, well, that's it, you're done, or vice versa,
Yeah.
I'm like, and it all, like, it's honestly a little overwhelming in a way, to the point where I don't know. It makes me not even want to say, like, label myself as anything, but that's where I'm at right now.
So how, and this seems to be like a guy in my church. He was raised Catholic, like religious Catholic, like the mass, the prayers, the penance, like all his family was Catholic. Like, that was how he was raised. He was deep in it. And so I've talked to him several times, being like on the other side of, now he's at more of a charismatic church and Protestant. It's like the evangelical side. And he's like, dude, I thought all of you were a bunch of weirdos. He said, until I actually like became a part of the community and realized that, like, this is by faith through grace, what the word says. And so he's like, all these things that my eyes were closed to, I began to look and realize that it's just scripture. Like, how can we close our eyes to scripture because of a certain religion that tells us to, like a certain church tells us to? And so he's walked through that journey. So what was it that made you begin? Was it said apologetics. Was it a deeper study or understanding? Like what began that transitional move for you spiritually and mentally? Because it's like it's a big, if you're raised a certain way, it is a massive mind shift, and it is so hard to change. Like I've went through that myself. Like I was raised a certain way, and for me to be my own Christian and follow Christ myself, I had to put aside and say, like you said a minute ago, this could be wrong, and have that question on everything, and let God form me into what he wants me to be, and let scripture lead me into what scripture wants me to do, instead of like man-made religion and like, let's follow, don't ask any questions, just do what you're told because that's the way it's been done for, forever. So what was it that began to make you even start to look outside of the Catholic faith?
Well, it wasn't that I was even looking outside. It was, you know, during COVID, I had some like, I call them emotional slash spiritual experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, I was reading through the whole Bible, and there were things that, I mean, and of course, obviously the biggest one is grace through faith. And it just felt like, with the Catholic Church, you have to, like, basically, well, first of all, if you miss a Sunday intentionally, it's a mortal sin, a mortal sin. And I'm like, wow. And it just, but in order to be freed from that, you couldn't even pray on your own. You had to go, it had to be confession in person, which I have no problem with confessing to somebody. But it just feels like, like the sacraments, you have to do this, you have to do that. And it almost feels like the shift goes away from Jesus to
Mm.
rituals,
Yeah.
which kind of feels like the way the Pharisees sort of were, where
Yeah.
it's, I mean, it's obviously it's not that extreme. They're not, they don't want to stone you if you heal somebody, if you pick grain on Sunday or something. But yeah, there were things like that. And, I mean, even there's little things like, I mean, it says that Jesus had a brother. It says in the Bible that, Mary consummated the marriage. Could the translation, when you go to Greek, I never looked into it that much because it's, to me, that's not so important.
Yeah.
And rather, it's just important that it's, grace through faith is the thing. That's the main thing. So that's, where I'm at.
So now you said that you're obviously your parents Catholic. Are they still Catholic? Are they still practice the faith? Has that caused? Well, yeah. I mean, as much as probably as they did when you were a kid. Has that caused complications in your relationship with them? Do they
Nah.
they don't feel like you're betraying the family or the heritage or the?
I mean, they're betraying it by not going to church on Sunday
I guess
anyway.
that's
and
true.
by
They can't really say anything, right?
not going to confession. But it's real. I feel like if anything, maybe it's like, it's possible that like someone maybe was embarrassed that I was making, like, I put a post up. I got baptized again in 2021.
Mhm.
And I put the post up, so it's possible they, a lot of people saw that in my family.
Yeah.
It's possible my father or someone was embarrassed by that. I have no idea. I mean, I really don't care. I mean, I do care, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah.
Now,
what about your wife? Was she raised the same that you were, and is she going through the same transition, or what does her walk look like? Are y'all unified in the house as far as like the way you're going now?
Yeah. Well, she wasn't brought up Catholic.
Okay.
She was not. She was. Now she was baptized as a baby Catholic in the hospital. She was very sick. So they did baptize her, but she had a lot of issues. Like she didn't have a father really, and her mother has a lot of problems with addiction.
Yeah.
So she lives with her great aunt and her father's. I mean, sorry, her brother's father. They have a different father. But she was close with him. He was Seventh-day Adventist. She wasn't brought up with that. And then the mother was going to a Baptist church. So she had a little more experience of being in a Baptist church for a brief period than anything. But she has a very strong natural I don't know, I guess I call it relationship with God, just because of the stuff she's been through and
Mm-hmm.
how she's had to come through it. And she always says it's God that did it. So she has a strong natural relationship with God that, I didn't have growing up. But unfortunately, she developed that through a lot of trials.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. I'm glad to hear that because if the house is divided, life can be very, very terrible. So now you touched on it. You didn't touch on it. I made a comment because people on Twitter or not Twitter, TikTok. Well, the internet can be so they have all the answers. So for those who may see this and they know who you are and they've seen your stuff on TikTok, now's your time to explain the baptism of your of your baby.
Yeah. I mean,
People are so dumb. Like
I can't. I mean, I mean, and I told him, I said, hey, it's right. It's a Catholic thing, but it's like the family tradition thing. And it's like, all right, my family wants it to be, what is he going to be? I'm going to baptize a Catholic, or we're going to do, a, what is it called? I forgot what you call it. A dedication.
yeah.
Maybe dedication. I said, no, we'll just do it Catholic. It'll make my family happy. And okay. And that's why we did it. It was like more tradition, than anything. People are like, you shouldn't be baptized. I'm like, and because I did, what's going to happen?
Nothing.
What's going to happen?
Nothing. Like
Nothing.
she's gonna have to make that choice when she gets of age, anyways. That's how people like split hairs with like the Christmas thing. Like, should you have a tree or the Easter bunny, like with the eggs and stuff? And I'm like, okay, come on. Like, it's like what is the meaning? Or should you get tattoos? Like, what's the meaning behind what you're doing? Like, what is the Bible from cover to cover? Like, if David could kill a man because he slept with his wife and then have that baby, and the Bible still calls David the man after God's own heart, the heart matters a lot more than we give it credit for sometimes. Like
unless you have a Christmas tree.
Or you baptize your baby.
It's out the window.
Like that's just too far. That is unforgivable.
Yeah. Not even David had a Christmas tree, okay?
Right. Yeah, that's true. So, is your daughter that you just baptized, is that your first child?
Yes.
Yeah? How's that?
I mean, I love her. It was very difficult in the beginning.
My phone
she was born with club feet.
Now, what is club feet? What does that mean?
So basically, instead of the feet being like this, they were turned in and like that.
Oh.
So we had to have casts on her for like 8 weeks. And every time they put a new cast on, you had to get a new cast every week.
Ooh.
For the first 4 weeks, it was new cast, and it was like 3 weeks of the same cast, so 7 weeks. And every time it was a new cast, she didn't sleep for like 2 days.
That's fun.
And she'd cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. So it was very difficult. And she actually didn't start sleeping through the night. She'll be 6 months next week. She didn't start sleeping through the night until 4th of July. That was the first night she slept through the night.
Wow. Are all the cast stuff done? Everything's good now?
Yeah, so now she wears boots and bars. She wears those for 12 hours a day until she's 5.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I guess you call that baptized by fire. So now anything you have after this, how many kids you have, it's fine. You've been through it all.
Yeah. I who knows if we'll be able to have another one at this point, but we'll see.
You're like, nope, that's it.
Between the stress and the financial situation, it's not easy to have a kid.
No, it's not.
It's not. I'd like another one though.
I've been married before, and so I have a teenager. He's about to be 17 in November, and he lives with us full time. And so my wife now, we just had our October will be 2 years. So we got my first girl. So it's a different experience. Like, I know you said 6 months old. Is that what you said? She's 21 months, something like that. And it is a different thing from having a son to having a girl. Like, when she cries, like everything inside of me like wants to rush to her and see what is wrong. And it's like my son was like, walk it off. You'll be okay. You're supposed to be a man. But like when a little girl cries, I can't explain the difference. But it's being a girl dad is a different beast. So now, since this being a dad, and even more so a girl dad, has those emotions, have they come out, or has a deeper emotional state come out of you in songwriting? You know what I mean? Like you've experienced something that has touched a depth of you inside that you've never felt before. Can you tell if it's changed anything, or were you already kind of tapped into that?
Yeah, I mean, I already feel pretty. I feel like I feel too much sometimes.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, for sure haven't. I've never felt anything as strong as I do for her. And the thing is, with the songwriting, I would say that it hasn't translated so much to that just yet.
Yeah.
But you know, the way with songwriting, sometimes it's when you are going through things, it's kind of it's happening inside.
Yeah.
And it eventually seeps its way
Comes
out.
Yeah.
But I'm still going. I think I'm still in. It hasn't seeped out fully yet into that.
Yeah.
Into that sense. I mean, I wrote a song for her, but
have you put it out yet, or is that just like between?
No, no. It's like a children's. It's actually a Christian children's song, like a very Christian children's song. I have to put it out, but I haven't yet.
Okay. So now, when you put like songs out, or have you ever started writing a song? Say, for instance, 2020 was a big like worldwide, a lot of things going on, a lot of loss, a lot of chaos. The things you see online, like being a musician today, being an artist today, it's a lot different than it used to be. Like now there's so many things that you have to put out online or that you can ingest from online. Does the culture or instances or seasons or whatever from that you see online, does that influence your music writing as well? Like you see something, you're like, man, I want to write a song that touches specifically this pain or this struggle.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's stuff like that happens all the time. Sometimes it's like this, like that, which is like, I guess, concept is this feeling that people feel. I want to write because I'm feeling that too. I want to write something that sheds light on it in maybe a different way.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, honestly, sometimes you hear other music and you're like, whoa, I'm like really inspired to write a song because I just listened to these other songs. And so as far, there's all types of things. There's a lot of different things that can inspire you to write. It just depends on what it is that's setting you off.
Now, do you easily, because I haven't wrote in a long time, but I'm also the worship leader at my church. And before I was the worship leader, I would write songs that weren't bad songs that could be about girls or whatever, but it was like kind of a, but I could easily put my brain in the mode of that emotion, even though I wasn't experiencing it. When you put out, so what's your favorite platform that you like to put? I found you on TikTok, but like, do you have a favorite avenue that you like putting stuff out on?
I like TikTok because I was on TikTok when it was called Musically at first in 2016, and I was on it from there. And an old band of mine, we did decent on there in the beginning. I like TikTok just because you get feedback quick.
Yeah,
and
even when you don't want.
It depends. I've noticed that it's the controversy people like.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Which is I'm not gonna, I'm not just gonna put stuff up to be controversial for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But now I know, like, if I'm going through something, I'm like, all right, I'll put it up because people may respond to it or resonate
or judge it, or they'll solve your problems, or they'll judge it. Yeah, they'll solve your problems pretty quick, won't they?
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes the people, they argue amongst themselves in the comments. I'm like, good, let them battle it out. I'll come check later.
I went on one of my videos because I put the shorts from the interviews of the Bible studies on TikTok, and I looked, and one person commented, and I didn't even have to respond because like all of a sudden, boom, 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 like back and forth, and I'm like, I can't even keep up. I'm not looking at this. It's like it's just too much. It's too much. So what is something?
Yeah, it's
We talk a little bit about social media. What's something encouraging that you have found? You said you kind of like TikTok the most. What's some encouraging the atmosphere of TikTok, or something that you really enjoy from it when you post something?
there are. I will say this. Sometimes I will post something as a joke, and people will think it's like dead serious.
Yeah.
Or it can even be a true thing, but I'm not posting it really to like cause the response to get. But there's a lot of people that are pretty caring on there. They're like, oh, they offer you some strong advice because they think you're going through. Okay, so for instance, I put up a post just because I thought it would be funny. I have a song. I have a song prayer. It was so at one point I was doing something where if people had a prayer request and wanted written to a song they can use for prayer, I was writing it.
I saw that.
Someone's
Yeah.
Yes, someone sent me one. This is last year. Someone sent me one for like lust, and it was like for porn addiction and all this stuff. So I wrote it and I put it out, and I made a post because I didn't even see the commercial, but I heard there was a Super Bowl commercial with there's this actress Sydney Sweeney. Have you ever heard of her?
Uh-uh.
And she's an actress she's very pretty.
Yeah.
So there was a Super Bowl commercial, and people were complaining like, oh, they used I don't even remember what they were selling. Oh, it was mayonnaise. Like, oh, they're using mayonnaise, using sex to sell mayonnaise. So I made a post with the song, and I said, when you see the Super Bowl commercial and now you don't know something like now you don't know if you should eat mayonnaise anymore, and you plan on making a tuna sandwich. And it was a joke, but
Yeah.
people like they really thought that I was considering never eating mayo again. But I wasn't. I was just joking, But they were very nice about it. They were
Yeah.
like, they were very kind about it. So the atmosphere is there are a lot of people there who are very caring, although sometimes they're not really discerning like fully your intent, or it could be my fault. Maybe I'm not being completely obvious about it or something. I don't know, but I find it funny.
I mean, people
You know?
like you don't have to try hard in the sphere of the internet to make people just lose their minds. Like it's so easy. It's just so easy. And it's like, I'm not even being for real. It's a joke. And they're like, oh no, he's gonna stop eating mayonnaise. And I'm like, even if he does, who cares? Like, why are you
Yeah.
so concerned about it? It's just, it's ridiculous. So now you said, was it in 2020 that y'all started the band, right?
That's when we started. Yeah, we didn't even have a name. We made a couple songs. We started a couple songs.
Now, what was the inspiration behind the name of the band?
Well, it took us a long time to come up with a name, but the name is basically Saints in Exile. It's about how God's people are, it's like you have the Garden of Eden,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all out, and it's like we're all in exile,
Yeah.
type of thing. So pretty much it's simple, but that's pretty much what the inspiration as far as the meaning of the name. It also sounds cool.
Yeah.
So that helps. But I really liked, we had a couple names we were throwing out there, and I liked the meaning of it. The drummer, I will tell you, he was like, I don't want to use this name because it's like we're calling ourselves saints. And I'm like, no, we're not. You're taking it too seriously.
Yeah. Like,
But it's
chill
funny.
out. Yeah.
It's funny. It was a funny story. He'll like that I mentioned that. But
You're all gonna have to do like the Catholic or whatever thing where you're like in the dress and like the get
Yeah.
up and you're on the front of the cover. Like that's. Have y'all came out with an EP yet?
the Halo.
Yeah, do the halo and everything.
No, we're just because the way it's really helpful nowadays to just do singles, but you
Okay.
could do something called a waterfall release, where it's basically like you have an EP or an album, and every release, so you release one song, and then you release another song, and they both go into the same thing, and over time, it's an album. It becomes an album.
Okay.
It's all on one thing.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
and you don't have to pre-choose the songs. You could just like, if you decide you want to do a song you wrote yesterday and add it on there, you can. So we're doing waterfall release. So it will eventually be a full album or an EP, whatever it winds up being. But as of now, they're just like singles coming out every 6 weeks. So
Okay. So, on talking about releasing, you only have are you making videos? I guess you're not. These are just like cover art on YouTube. So
on the topics, yeah, on our channel we do shorts, like little shorts videos.
okay, there they are.
Yeah, rather than do a whole music. I mean, if a song did really well, we'd make a music video, but it's just it doesn't make sense to unless there's like a demand for it.
Well, I didn't know if you were doing like the how it's just like the little clip, or not the clip art, but the cover art where it's just a thing with playing. Now this one is a what do you call it? A lyric video.
Yeah, this is a lyric video there, and if you go to shorts, they're like it is videos that we made of us, some of them, but they're not very fancy, just very simple, and yeah, because when you at the end of the day you put it up, you don't know what's gonna work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could film something in 5 minutes and it can get 1 million views, and you could film something for 40 days and high
Yeah,
production and it gets like 10
10 views,
views.
yeah. Like
So
the awesome thing and the crazy thing at the same time is like these little phones are putting out with now, like they can record some pretty good stuff and actually good quality.
yeah, there's a new feature on the new iPhone where you could use the voice memos, like the voice memos app to record, and it isolates it and it makes it sound. I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to use it to record if I have a microphone, but if you, it could work. It could work. And I think it was Michael Bublé. He released a song using that. It sounded pretty decent.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I guess he has the bandwidth to just like, we'll try and see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Well, it was sponsored by Apple, so I'm sure
He did get money for it then. Okay.
he got money for it
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
he probably got a lot of
They
money for
even
that.
made it. Yeah, it was a cross thing. He got a cross promotion. He got money for it, and Apple got Michael Bublé putting it out there and showing people, hey, you can use this new feature.
Now I know I just mentioned your YouTube channel, but are you or does your band the Exile have a TikTok, or are you just putting it out on your personal stuff, or
No, we have a TikTok.
okay? Because I have
Yeah,
not
I think it's
followed that.
Saints in Exile band.
Okay, Saints and Exile band. Saints Catholic. All right, there you go.
So yeah, that's a new. We just created that a couple months ago.
Okay,
So
cool. So it's got the little short, or I guess the verticals like y'all have on your YouTube shorts.
yeah, I'm posting the same thing to both. So whatever is being posted to the TikTok, I'm putting right up on the YouTube
Okay.
because they both function very similar.
Yeah, they really do. So what's now you said, okay, we got Saints in Exile, and you said you have your own other stuff too. What do you call that? Is it just the one that you and I had been talking back on, or do you have a name, or is it just
No,
your name?
it's just Mike Geo.
Okay, Mike Geo. And so after we get off, you can, if you will, text me the links to all this stuff so I can make sure to post it when the episode comes out. So now for you and for the band, like, are y'all working on any bigger projects right now? Any new songs? Can you give any teasers, or do you need to keep that locked up so nobody knows?
No, I mean, what? I mean, a teaser. What would I even give as a teaser? I mean, with the band, we have a song coming out in September. Yes, early September, called "My Mind Is a Prison."
Yeah, okay.
Which is just really about, it's what it sounds like, just like anxiety. Basically, It's about anxiety. And Mike Geo, I have something coming out August 8th called "I Will Be Your Home," and actually, that is mainly about. It's a song I wrote for my wife because her great aunt was basically like her parent.
Mm-hmm.
And when her great aunt died, I wrote that song for her. And this is before we were even dating. I've known my wife since we were 9 and 10, so we've known each other our whole lives.
Oh wow! So she really likes you then, if she's known you for that long.
or she's a phenomenal actor, man, phenomenal. You know,
She'll
she
start her
deserves.
career.
I
Yeah.
deserve to be fooled at that point. But I wrote that one for her, and it fits for my daughter too, and it even works as like basically like God telling you, "I'll be your home."
Yeah.
His name is so "I'll be your home." So it worked. I think it worked for the Mike Geo stuff to put that one out. But then the rest of the stuff is it's like CCM pretty much.
Okay. Now, when you guys do collaborations with other bands? Have you ever done that before? Like, didn't you mention another rapper that was on a song of yours? Or was that the
That's
rapper?
on that's on Saints in Exile. We had on My Dead End we had a Christian rapper named Cutright. We also had we had a few people on that one actually, but he was like the main one. We had some people singing backup. Jeannie Ortega, who's an artist. This guy named Jericho. He's another. These are all Christian artists, by the way.
Okay.
Jericho. This guy, Luke Demars, I think his last name is. I hope I didn't butcher that. He's actually a worship leader. He may be a pastor too. It's the rapper who knows him, so I don't know him very
Okay.
well.
Gotcha.
And think that's I think that's everyone that was on there.
Do you have your own YouTube channel as well with just like you with your stuff?
Yeah, it's Mike Geo. Mike
Is it
Geo Music.
Okay. So how many songs do you have out, or does your band have out?
The band has 3,
3.
and the Mike Geo one has maybe 7, 6, 7, 8, probably 7 or 8.
Now, do any of these songs, like when I had songs, there was like one particular song that I put out on Apple that was like on iTunes that was if you heard that song, you heard my heart. Like that was how I was really feeling. Like that was me in that time of my life. Is there a song with the band or the song like you personally that like if you could say like this right here, that was some like this was not a topical song. This was not a kind of a general season, like this right here speaks the heart of the band, or this song is like this is Mike Geo in transition or whatever. Like, is there any songs that are like that you can think of off the top of your head?
Yeah, I would say it's one by the Mike Geo one called "Be Refined," that really and it caused a bunch of controversy. The song, but that was one where what I wrote, I really felt when I wrote it.
What was some of the controversy over?
Well, so at first I'll tell you the short side so you can actually see from their point of view. And then I'll explain the context of the song, the rest of the lyrics. So in the chorus, it says, sometimes church can feel so phony, like if you're not happy, you're not holy. Makes you feel like you're losing faith. But like the prodigal, you'll find if you're not broken, you can't be refined. And so basically,
I like it.
thank you. What it's supposed to mean is that like you feel like you have to hide how you feel, not because people are forcing you to, but you feel like you have to as a Christian. And especially because I was a worship leader at the church I was at, and I had a lot going on. In the late 2022, my grandmother passed away. Now she was 93, but still was hard. My wife's uncle died like a month before that, and then my grandfather died 3 months after my grandmother. This is my grandfather on the other side of the family though. And then my wife was pregnant and she had a miscarriage right after that. So I was kind of like, I was in a really bad headspace. And I went through my notes. At one point I wrote, I was apparently, I don't even remember this. I was praying to God when I would go to bed, like, God, can you just like, just like, I don't want to wake up. Like, could you do this for me? Type of thing, which is a really crazy thing to think. But I mean, Elijah, also prayed for that. So I don't feel totally crazy.
People forget that all the time. Like just because you have doubts or questions, like God is big enough to receive those and hear those and love you through it. Like you've seen online, church people are the quickest people, or I say church people, they're the quickest people to like rip in. We eat our own. like that.
And well, yeah, and that's what happened when I put this. And I showed the song to a lot of people. I showed it to a pastor that I'm very close with, who knows, like, my pastor, my former pastor at that church, and everything. And no one had a problem with it, whatever. And when it came out, the pastor of that church was insistent it was about him and the church, that lyric was like a shot at them. And the thing was, is I did have a lot of issues with them, but the song had nothing to do with it, and I didn't even make him really aware that I had all these issues. But regardless, apparently he said the pastor told the elder that there was a big thing at the Bible study where people were like freaking out about the song. Now I know the people who go to the Bible study, so when I hear this, I'm like, well, I'm gonna ask them.
Yeah.
And everybody said that there was nothing mentioned. There was no song was never mentioned. So the only thing I could think of is that he just
Made it
said
up.
it. Yeah.
Also known as lying.
And yeah, so that happened, and then he was also, because I was making content back then that was like, just because you're depressed doesn't mean that you don't have enough faith and stuff like that, to go with the song, because in that church there was a vibe of that, and even would go up and give sermons that said, if you feel like you need therapy, Jesus and therapy, you don't trust Jesus enough. Like, they didn't really have a very,
That's dumb.
they didn't, yeah, that's, and in
That
fact,
is so stupid.
what's really funny, if I don't know if I would call it funny, is that the assistant pastor and his wife are therapists, and they even wear shirts that say therapy and Jesus, and then he's saying this like in front of, I'm like, huh?
So
So
self-unaware.
he didn't like, what?
I said it's so self-unaware. Like they have no clue. Like just talking out of their.
Yeah, well, he's, and that's why it's, your assistant pastor is a therapist, and and they wear the hoodies sometimes, and then you're making this comment that you can't have therapy. And by the way, he asked me in private about my therapist. Oh, could you give me his number? So apparently he believes in it, but publicly he didn't. And so I don't know. I told him I wouldn't mention that, but back then, but too late.
The statute of limitations isn't right out.
We're past it now.
Yeah. I guess it was one of those where it's like, it's a good saying and it sounds good from the pulpit, but one of those things that, like, if you think about it, it's really dumb. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Well, we've had conversations. He does, I even said, he told me, well, if you broke your leg in the middle of the desert, what are you going to do? You can only pray. And we're talking in relation to mental health. And I'm like, but we're not in the desert.
It's not the same thing.
We're not in the desert. I'm like, yeah, if we were on Mars somehow and there was no one around, yes, we would be down to prayer for sure. But here on Earth, if you break your foot, God has made people doctors and given us blessings of medicine to help. So why would you ignore it? Yeah, that was an interesting conversation.
So, and we've touched on it a little bit. So where do you find yourself, right? Like your spiritual walk? Like, I know you've publicly said you've had some church hurt and bad experiences, and like, are you currently going to a church regularly? Have you found a healthy body to be a part of, or are you still searching?
Honestly, it's very hard to. So there was a place over here, and I really like the people, and I like the pastor actually. But 2 weeks after going, very quickly, oh, maybe you could join the worship team, and they say no pressure, but it felt like, oh, I'm getting sucked in too fast here.
Yeah.
And I just got out of the other one where I really loved, and I still love the people that went there. And the church doesn't exist anymore, that old church anyway. But I love the people that went there, and it's just like, it feels like when it's like if you were in a relationship and you break up and then you meet someone else and they're like, hey, let's go get married. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. I just met you. I don't even know your name yet. You know, that's how it feels. And so it's been very difficult, very difficult for me. And then of course, once the baby came, um, it's been hard to, it's my fault for not going so much, but it's been very hard, like to come back from what I went through because so much happened. I mean, even stuff that happened that I didn't put up and I wouldn't even talk about because it's not even about me, it's about other people.
Mhm.
That's just so messed up where it's just like, it would be very hard for me. It's very hard for me to trust and get close to people when, because even after I left, it's like people didn't, there's people that reached that kept in contact, but a lot didn't. Um, and I don't know what was said because in that church culture there, if you left and went to another church or you left in general, you were not talked well about at all.
Mm.
So, and I never told anyone really what happened. I told TikTok like a year later. I told them the parts of it, but so my church journey is kind of fractured still. My spiritual journey is fractured, um, but I'm very aware that it's fractured in a way that is building to a stronger connection. But the thing is I my relationship with God happened on its own before I started going to that church, and had it not, and it happened through the church, I don't know what my stance, like I don't know how I would have came out the other end of it. And that's what scares me, not me, but it scares me for other people, that if they go into a situation that turns sour, but like the foundation of their
Belief
relationship with God was
is on a
based in
church.
that place,
Yeah.
what happens to them?
Yeah. We see that a lot around here in East Texas. Like everybody thinks if they go to church or because their mom and dad went to this church or their grandparents went to a church, like they think that they are Christian. Like everybody automatically assumes, oh, if you go to church, all you have to do is go to church, pay your tithes, serve in the church. Like, let's get you serving somewhere. And those things are good, but they are not necessary for salvation. And this, I tell my people this all the time. We have churches full of weak Christians because they're built, their Christianity, their relationship with God is built on a person or an organization or a building. And so if that is excluded from life, now their Christian walk is unstable because it was built on faulty pretenses and sand. Like it was not built on Christ, the solid rock. It was built on a person. Like I come from a church that we believe lay hands on the sick, watch them recover. You know, as James tells us to do. We have altar call for salvation every single Sunday. But I have structured my church to where when we have altar time, I have people from the audience that I know have prayer lives that read the word, that are mature Christians. Like that's actually the mission and vision of my church is spiritual maturity, like bringing spiritual maturity back to God's house again, so we can disagree and still love each other. We can, be in different walks of life and different backgrounds and everything, but still coexist as the body of Christ and be the body of Christ to the community. And when we get healthy inside, we can be healthy outside. And so I have people selected that when I give a cue for salvation or whatever, or somebody is sick and you need prayer for healing in your body, like these people come up and they pray for people. Sometimes I do pray for them if I feel like I'm supposed to, but like, I don't want them to come to get prayer from a person. I want them to come and the body do what the body's supposed to do. Like, to me, that's healthier because they're not depending on a person or an organization. Like we need to be biblically sound and have biblical literacy so that we can have a full understanding of God and what the church should look like, and not what we create it and want it to be or what a denomination says. And we are a part of a denomination, but like the Bible to me comes first, not denomination. Like the denomination to me is a good barometer, and it helps keep things accountable because we have somebody that we actually answer to. But we answer to God first and denomination second. So yeah, I fully agree with your what everything you said is 100% true. Like there are people that will leave churches if there's a pastor change or a worship leader change or a youth pastor change, and like if God led you somewhere, should you not wait for the leading of the Lord to make you or to, position you in a different place instead of preference? That's just my personal 2 cents.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When I was there, I really felt like I started questioning if I should stay around early 2023. And I stayed till early 2024 because I'm like, I just don't know if God wants me to leave. I just wasn't, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was getting an answer. And it wasn't until like things hit the fan. But I will tell you, if I did leave, nothing to do with the church, but there are things that I was around for that positively I feel helped other people. It has nothing to do with the church though. But had I left, I don't know if I would have been. Um, but after those things, it felt like it's time.
Yeah.
It was time to go. It took a long time. I didn't want to do. I didn't want to make it. I don't like making decisions based off of emotion.
Yeah.
Um, One being because in the morning, I may be like, why am I doing that? Like I like music. I may say like, why am I doing music? Like, what's
Yeah.
the point? Nobody's listening, and then at night I could feel good and I'm like inspired to write.
Yeah.
And it's just it's like
Same exact day, but just different shifts.
yeah, same day. It depends. Maybe I didn't get enough. I drank some extra caffeine and now I feel good. So I don't like making emotional decisions,
Yeah.
and so it sometimes takes me, if I don't hear something that's obvious, it takes me a while to.
We did the same thing, but because we went from that, I was talking to you about the Tyler is a local place about an hour from here. I work there almost every day. But we lived over there on Tyler and we moved to Longview in actually 2020, in July of 2020. And we made the church switch. And it wasn't that where we came from was unhealthy, but me and my wife, we knew that God was calling us somewhere else, but we didn't know where yet. And so in like 2019, the guy that was the pastor over here in Longview, the church we're at now, he called me and he said, "Hey, I've built this church back up. It was almost dead, and people stopped coming. But we're building a new building this year. We just built a new building. I want you to come over as the worship leader and the associate pastor. Let the people get used to you, and then we'll make the transition. The board members are on board, all this stuff." And so that was 2019, almost a full year. I did not hear anything from him. And I'm like, Lord, did we we said yes, we knew God wanted us to go there, but God didn't release us from that place yet. And it wasn't until a year later that we got the phone call. Okay, we're ready now for you to come over, and things are as they should be. And I'm like, but for that year, I was not happy where we were. My wife wasn't happy, and it's not that it was a bad place. It was just like we knew it was time to go, and so I'm one of those that I just don't sit. Like I got to be like, if it's time to go, let's go. Let's get it done. And so I was getting antsy, and I was like, did we hear wrong? Like, did God actually want us to go there? I'm questioning like all the answers I already had, but it was just because God was making me sit there for a minute and be patient and wait on him for him to do the release and not me to try to rush. But when it was time, everything went completely smooth. Like it was like boom, 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 one thing after another. And it was like, it was God's timing and it was perfect.
That's a really good point to make, because you know what, a lot of people, including myself, if we feel it's our natural instinct is to do to get the result, and yeah, sometimes God says, yeah, you got to, like, look at David, man. It's like you're anointed king. And he's like, yeah, maybe he's like, yeah, fantastic. But yeah, imagine if it's like you're anointed king. But first of all, if it was me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it to king.
No.
Okay. I would have given up. Yeah. I mean, you got Saul chasing you. You're out there pretending that you have something wrong with you so you don't get killed. What an insane story. What was it, like maybe 10 years, 15 years? I don't know.
Something
And then
like that, yeah.
finally, so it's like, yeah, sometimes God has a plan, and he makes you aware of it, but it is very easy to want to put it in your own hands, which David did not do. He would not kill Saul. Um, he still respected that Saul was king, and
which is hard to do, especially because he knew the position Saul was in was actually rightfully from the prophet. He was anointed to take that position. And yet he didn't like force his way into it. He let God orchestrate it, which, yes, that whole story is just crazy. Like, I don't think if I'm even making it to the part where David had the opportunity to kill Saul, I mean, David was a warrior. He knew how to fight. He killed Goliath already. Like, this is down the line of his story. He's not a young boy anymore. Now he's a man. I don't know if I would have the restraint to, especially in that day and time, to not kill him. He is literally seeking to kill me.
Yeah, I mean, he could have done it. He would have succeeded in it. You know, even Joseph, it's like he has these dreams and the brothers, you know, sell him away, and he goes through all this stuff, and then he gets accused of hitting on I don't forget if it's Pharaoh's wife or someone.
Potiphar's wife.
I
think he's like the first-hand man or something to Pharaoh.
He winds up in prison, so he's like, I mean, I think this is ridiculous. Like, I'm done.
Yeah,
like, forget it
for doing the right thing.
Like, forget it. Meanwhile, he wound up saving his whole family. You know, in the end, it took so long, but it all came full circle. It's really hard in between to function, I would say.
Yeah, I have to constantly remind myself, like, if I'm ever in a position like I was in that full year, to not rush, because like Abraham and his wife Sarah, they were promised a son. They were promised that in their late age. I mess with some of the older people in my church, and I'm like, hey, we'll pray for you that God will give you a child. And like, no, I don't want that. Said, hey, Abraham and Sarah, right? And they're like, no, I don't want, I'm good. But like, he tried to do it on his own, and he messed up big time. And there was repercussions and conflict that if he would have just waited on God, everything would have been all right. But yeah,
that's a great point.
Waiting is terrible.
Great point. 100%. Even waiting for food at a diner.
Right? That's why fast food is so like the obvious choice most of the time, because we want it now. We want it quick.
Yeah, although it's not always fast. Sometimes I'm waiting there 15 minutes. So
yeah. Do y'all have Chick-fil-A in New York?
We do.
Is it as fast around here? Chick-fil-A is fast. It's like, if you want fast food and it get fast, like they do the line quick. Is it that good up there?
Yeah, it's like average. It's like it's not like you order it and then it's out. I mean, you're waiting maybe like 5 minutes, which isn't bad at all. So I get the grilled chicken there. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's God's chicken, right?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realize one time I pulled into their parking lot. I was gonna after Sunday service, and I pulled in. And I'm like, I've never been more disappointed that somebody was closed on a Sunday, because I was ready for it.
It's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's happened to me.
So, well, is there anything else you'd like to share as far as your story, or anything you'd like the listeners to know about your vision and your music?
Always the worst part, because I never know what to say. No, I mean, I'm just, at the end of the day, trying to go wherever God is leading me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard it's hard to know. Sometimes it's hard to know where he's leading you, because it doesn't always look the way you thought it would be.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't usually look the way you thought it would be. So it's very hard. So I always, I'll say my thing is to always pray, God, wherever you want me to go, let the doors open there. And wherever you don't, let them be impossible, even if it's what I want. I mean, you can cringe when you pray that. And you're like, but like at the end of the day, that's what matters at the end of the day. And yeah, I'm trying my best. I got new music coming out from both sides. And hey, if you have a problem, or if you had a failure in church, it does not reflect God and what he wants from you, and there is something he could use in that to bring something out of you didn't know you had.
Yeah, I think that's a a good zoom in on maturity. Like, it's not until we have to do things ourselves and we have to make decisions, the hard decisions, or the decision just to wait and be patient, that our maturity is built and our faith in God is built. Well, Mike, I appreciate
100%.
you coming on the podcast so much, and thank you for sharing your heart and some of your struggles, some of your highlights, and I'm very excited to see what's next in the chapter of you and your band. Like, I was, and I hope you don't take this wrong, but I was so impressed when I like went on your YouTube channel. I'm like, I was being able to listen to the whole songs. I'm like, this is good stuff. Like, I sent it to a few people, so you may get a few more subscribers on there. Hopefully you will after this video comes out too. But you guys got the stuff. Like, you guys are actually talented. I really, like, I enjoyed your music. So I'm excited about where y'all are going to go and blow up, and then I'll do anything I can to help you along the way.
I appreciate it. We'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And you know what? You like apologetics. I guarantee you could probably do your own thing and teach the Bible as you go through it.
You know, I'll name drop just a couple of these guys I like in case anyone else wants to look them out. Well, it's the first one that comes to mind is J. Warner Wallace. You ever hear of him? He does something called Cold Case Christianity.
Oh, yes, I do. Okay, yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. You've got, I mean, obviously the guy, Ravi, he's had some issues, but
yeah,
I forget his last name, but he's really good.
Now, was he the one that died just recent?
He did die.
Yeah. Because didn't it come out after he had died? Maybe his controversy thing. Yeah,
I think so, actually.
But yeah, the guy was brilliant.
There's oh man, what's the guy's name? It's my favorite one too. I can't remember his name. The
Turk. Do you know?
No,
who that is?
I know him too. Not personally, but I know who he is.
I was like, you know? That's cool.
No. Oh man, William Lane Craig.
Oh yeah, dude's phenomenal.
Right.
He's got a lot of good books too.
Oh yeah, I can go on all day about it. So I'll leave it there. He's one of the top ones. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much, and for everybody who is listening or watching, if you're on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts, all the links to Mike's YouTube channel for the band, his TikTok, and are you on Instagram and stuff like that too? Do you kind of all the social media stuff?
Yeah, it's all the same. So it's for me, it's Mike Geo Music, GEO Music everywhere, and for the band, it's Saints in Exile Band.
Okay, awesome. So all those links will be down below. Thank you so much for listening to another episode and interview on Faith and Failures, and we will see you next time. God bless you.
Faith and Failures Podcast.